Coal seam gas is the world's most abundant energy source. It is today and will be the future for electricity in Australia. Coal seam gas is a natural gas primarily consisting of methane, which is trapped underground by water pressure. Coal seam gas is extracted from coal beds 300 to 1200 metres underground. When the coal seam gas is extracted, a steel encased well is drilled into a coal seam and allows for the methane gas to be released. The gas and water are then pumped to the surface where they are then separated. Once separated, the gas is sent to a compressor station and into the natural gas pipeline. To date, a total of 493 coal seam gas exploration and production wells have been drilled in New South Wales.
Hi, my name is Emma and today I'm here with you to get you the facts on one of the most talked about topics today, coal seam gas. Today I look at the positive and the negative aspects of this practice. Today I talk with Professor Doug Waters from the Environmental Matters Association and Dr. Glenn Mitchell from the CSIRO. With the creation of over 38,000 jobs in Queensland and New South Wales, coal seam gas is fast becoming a popular practice and providing job security for a suffering employment load. In July 2011, households in New South Wales saw electricity bills jump by an average of 18%. With the introduction of coal seam gas in New South Wales and Queensland, households could see cheaper bills arriving in their mailbox. Coal seam gas production has changed considerably since the 1990s. As a result, the way and the extent of mining operations impact the environment are different to how they were prior to the 1990s. Today I have Professor Doug Waters from Environmental Matters. Doug, thank you for joining me today.
Hi Emma, thank you for having me.
Now, coal seam gas is one of the most talked about topics to date. Just going over the statistics, there's 493 gas wells just in New South Wales. We know coal seam gas will create and secure 38,000 jobs in Queensland and New South Wales and will be a cheaper source of energy. Is there a downside to this practice?
Well Emma, it does seem fantastic on the surface, but when you go into the history and the processes, it's not what it seems. As you said earlier, coal seam gas is a relatively new process in Australia, and especially in New South Wales.
Now, water is the most important feature on Earth. How does the coal seam gas extraction process use the water?
About 80% of the wells involve the drilling through aquifers. With a mixture of chemicals used in the process, the potential for contamination is much higher. When the process commences, the chemicals are put through the aquifer and therefore mixed with water. When the risk of water contamination is much higher, the environmental, social, health aspects increase.
Doug, I have a clip here from Origin Energy's spokeswoman. Let's have a look to see what they have to say about their process.
About 85 to 95% of the contaminated water is recovered through a high purification system using a reverse osmosis treatment process with minerals added to mimic the local conditions. The remaining 5 to 15% of the untreated wastewater containing dissolved oxygen is stored as a byproduct of the purification process.
Doug, I have a statement released by the Australian Government Water Commission. In this statement, it says that with large amounts of treated wastewater being released, the natural flows may be altered and may have some significant impacts on the quality of the water.
All the statistics sound great, but the process is very dangerous and does pose a threat. An example was in December 2011, the New South Wales Environmental Protection Authority issued Eastern Star Gas 2 penalties under Section 120 of the Protection of the Environmental Operations Act of 1997 of $1,500 each for discharging polluted water containing high levels of salt into the Bohena Creek in Pilawinga in northwest New South Wales.
Wow, it just proves not only does it happen overseas, but it happens in our own backyard. Thank you for joining me today. Up next, I have Dr. Glenn Mitchell from the CSIRO. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Emma, for having me.
Now, Dr. Glenn, you work at the CSIRO. The process of coal seam gas involves drilling through the aquifers. Is there any effects to the groundwater?
Groundwater is an important source, which is essential for the preservation of many local waterway ecosystems. The main issues facing groundwater in Australia is over-extraction, with many towns relying on groundwater reservoirs. When too much groundwater is extracted, water tables and the remaining groundwater will become more saline. So when coal seam gas companies are drilling through aquifers and potentially mixing chemicals, our groundwater sources is being used. For example, in Queensland, the Great Artesian Basin, which is the largest groundwater basin in the world, is on the brisk of being used up, potentially from over-extraction of the valuable source.
Dr. Glenn, I have a position statement here. The Australian Government Water Commission that states the Australian coal seam gas industry is expected to use 7.5 gigalitres of water from the groundwater systems over the next 25 years. Now, the Great Artesian Basin stores a water volume of 64,000 million megalitres of water. With the coal seam gas industry tapping into that water source, it's not going to last forever, is it?
No, Emma, it's not.
Dr. Glenn, thank you for joining me today.
Coal seam gas. We looked at the positives being employment security for over 38,000 people and the cheaper electricity bills arriving in our mailbox. We also looked at the negatives being the effect on the environment and society. I believe with coal seam gas present in countries such as China, South Africa and Russia, there should be ample information available. Although the positives sound great, incidents do happen, and the risk to the environment and society is too high compared to the positives. I believe legislation needs to be developed based on the evident impacts of coal seam gas. Although all the potential impacts can be reduced if legislation and regulations are robust enough to mitigate against any potential impacts that may occur. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. See you next time.